Hello my friends, welcome back to our channel, or if you're new here, hello, my name is Nicole. And in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about something a little bit different that I've never discussed online before, and that is homemaking. Over the last few months as we've been in this pandemic, there have been so many podcasts that have popped up in regards to homemaking, and I have had such an epiphany because I was like, is that what I am? I didn't know it had a name. And if you are not familiar with the term of homemaking or homemaker, that's okay, no problem. I'm going to tell you what it means to me. And equally, if you are somebody that considers yourself to be a homemaker, I mean, I would love if you introduce yourself in the comments, because this whole community and world, I didn't even know it existed. If you have been subscribed to this channel for some time, you'll already be familiar with me. One of the things that I've noticed over my maturity and adult years is that I definitely gravitate towards being someone that takes care of their house, and I love having the kind of traditional role in the house where food is on the table for when my husband comes in, his lunches are made. I love cooking. I think this also coincides with my primary love language being acts of service, but I also feel like I have had a few female presences in my life who displayed such strong homemaking qualities, and be it that those people have been more maternal relationships in my life, I think that I am now just following the natural course and succession of what has been demonstrated to me. Now, sometimes I also feel like, especially after, really binging on a lot of other women in the homemaking space, I've also noticed on the other side of the spectrum that sometimes some women who didn't have a very strong maternal homemaker presence in their life, that is where they are naturally gravitating towards this homemaker lifestyle. Now, as I mentioned, I did have someone in my life who massively demonstrated this, and she's probably the person that I miss the most in this world. And I'm not saying that, all of my female presences weren't maternal or didn't have this homemaking quality. However, I do think that my grandmother on my father's side really demonstrated these homemaking skills. And now as I am a wife, and hopefully one day, hopefully I can be a mother, I'm seeing that those things that she demonstrated to me are like such ingrained things in my morals and my values and how I run my household as a wife, and hopefully one day as a mother. So now that we've got a little bit of that backstory out of the way and a little bit about me, I do want to say that, I stumbled across a lot of podcasts, as I previously mentioned, that is talking about being a homemaker. And for me personally, I was really looking at how I can be more feminine, because I am someone that definitely has a little bit more masculine energy. I am someone who has had to take care of myself for a really long time, and I truly do believe that sometimes when you're the oldest child, you do end up kind of taking more of an authoritative role on things. I mean, growing up, some of my aunts used to literally call me mother hen. It's just, I like taking care of things. But equally, I have found over the years that when I exert too much of a masculine energy over a certain situation, not only do I end up overloading my own personal plate and I can't get some of my other responsibilities done, but I find that there's a disharmony between me and my husband in our household. So over the last year, I would say I definitely have been exploring more about what it is to be feminine, because I think sometimes people think that, oh, to be feminine, you've got to be in pink and you've got to have the frills and, super girly stereotypical tendencies, but in reality it's not that at all. And throughout all of this, it's given me time to assess certain roles that play out in a household, and me and my husband have really come to the understanding that we are quite traditional in our roles in a household. I like the cooking, I like the cleaning. It fills me with pride to do these things. I love taking care of him. I love making sure that he's fed. And equally, I think it gives him a sense of pride when he can pay for the roof over our head and he can provide and so forth. Now, with saying all of that, one of the things that I will say completely had me a little bit disheartened when I first started uncovering this whole homemaker community was a lot of women who, they are homemakers, they consider themselves homemakers, they consider themselves stay-at-home women, either stay-at-home wives or stay-at-home mothers. However, for me, as much as I want to stay at home, I still want to bring in an income. And it's actually only as of recently I stumbled across another podcast, and I love that they really touched on the fact that not all homemakers are going to be mothers. Not all homemakers are going to be even married. Not all homemakers are going to be women who want to stay at home. And for me personally, I do see myself staying at home because I currently have a lifestyle where I make money online. So I personally do not need to go outside of the house to make money, but one day I do hope to own a brick and mortar business, but that's a topic for another conversation. And I don't think that I would be considered any less of a homemaker than I am now. Now, with the saying all of that, I'm just kind of bringing you guys through the journey of what has been going on in my head and why I'm making this video. And I mean, if you have been subscribed to this channel for some time, you might now understand the direction that we're taking with some of our content. But after listening to a lot of podcasts and consuming a lot of online video content here on YouTube, one of the things that, you know, it gets you to assess where you're at, how you got to this place, what things mean most to you, what you don't really connect with, what you connect with even more. And I really started to look at my past, and I realized I have been setting my life up for a homemaker lifestyle from basically my early adult years. I personally am someone, I went to school to do hair, and before I went to school to do hair, I had a kind of government job. And when I was assessing what I wanted to leave and do, because I was so unhappy there, it came down to me either going to hair school or enrolling in a radio broadcasting program. And the only reason why I didn't enroll in the radio broadcasting program was the fact that I knew that it wasn't going to give me a lifestyle that allowed me to be a mom and be home with my kids during the hours it needed me to be home with the kids. If you guys want a follow-up video on that, let me know and I'll make that, but I didn't want to go too much into career talk in this video. But then from there, I started realizing I have a house in Canada. If you're new here, I live in the UK, but I'm Canadian. And I have a house in Canada, and the whole reason I went with the house that I went with was because I wanted to start building a home that if I did stay there the rest of my life, I would at least be set up to do so. And I can just see all these decisions that I've made up until this year of my life, you know, this exact moment, and it's all been with homemaker mentality. And so, yeah, it's been, you know, a very eye-opening experience. The other quick thing that I wanted to mention in regards to being a traditional homemaker or not being a traditional homemaker, one of the things that I would say I'm coming across on YouTube that I feel like I completely do not identify with is some women that are talking about being a homemaker and talking about being feminine and like really living out a more feminine role in the household. But I feel like I don't connect with them because they talk in such a way that is just like so placid and like Stepford wife-like, and to each their own, we're all completely different. But I think that's where I sometimes didn't associate with being feminine or didn't associate with like being a homemaker, is because I didn't see me as this like placid Stepford wife. And I felt like there was a little bit more substance to me, but in reality, if you dig deep down into my core, into my values, and into things that I traditionally gravitate towards, I definitely am a homemaker through and through. The other thing that I would say, I was a little bit disheartening when I first stumbled across the whole homemaking community is again, when you come across certain types of people in this community, you know, I feel like people at the end of the day, we fall into certain stereotypes. And even though I'm traditional with like my morals and my values and my homemaking, I think that I'm not at the same time. But the other thing that I noticed was, you know, there's certain household tasks that some women believe that they should just take care of because they are the homemaker. When in reality, there's certain household tasks that my husband takes care of, and then there's certain household tasks that I take care of that might not be considered the feminine or masculine appropriate role. So super quickly, for example, I cannot stand cleaning the bathroom. Like, of course I would clean the bathroom, but cleaning the toilet just sends me over the edge. edge, whereas my husband is not bothered with that. But then also traditionally he takes out the garbage, he picks out the dog poo, things like that. However, on the flip side of things, I will often deal with if there's like a repair that needs to be done and the repairman needs to come. I don't mind calling for that. I don't mind being home for when that repair needs to happen. Or painting. For example, we had our front garden renovated this year and the back garden renovated this year, and I did most of the painting outside. That's probably not a very feminine role. It's not the cooking and the cleaning. However, I had so much joy through that. So I think that's another thing that I really wanted to come on and have this chat with you guys, because even though I do consider myself to be a very traditional type of person in regards to homemaking, I also think that there's the exception to the rule where me and my husband don't fall into those traditional roles. So with saying all of that, I just wanted to come on here, have an honest conversation about where we're at, where we might pivot in our content. And if you are new here, I would love to hear, what are your favorite homemaker resources? I know there's quite a few people on YouTube who do talk about it, and interestingly enough, it is so cool to see how people do it so differently. So anyways, I know this video was just a big chit chat. I mean, to be honest with you, I got a cup of tea because I knew it was going to be a little bit of a rambly one and a little bit of a long one, but I'm glad that I got it out there. I'm glad that I got these things off my chest. And with that, as I mentioned, I would love to hear if you consider yourself to be a homemaker yourself, if you understand what that means, and if you have made it to the end of this video. I would love if you let me know, like, would you consider yourself to be a traditional kind of homemaker or not? Because I personally think I'm very traditional in my like morals and values. However, I don't think I'm very traditional in the sense of I still want to bring in an income. That's really important to me, not because I have anything to prove. I watched a video last night of another girl saying that a lot of Black women who consider themselves to be homemakers, they feel like they have something to prove and they want to prove that they're not a gold digger, so that's why they still want to bring in an income. And for me, it has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with the fact that I absolutely love my job, so I could never imagine giving it up. And I have so much joy in being an entrepreneur, and like, yeah, that's a completely different topic. Let me know if you want like a career video or like a video on how some homemakers, still have a desire and have fun out of like making money. But yeah, I didn't agree with what that girl was saying, but because of that, and because I find a lot of homemakers like to, stay at home and have their husband provide, I find that I'm not very traditional. I wouldn't be deemed as what some people would consider a traditional homemaker, although I'm very traditional in my morals and my values and a lot of the things that do get associated with being a homemaker. Anyways, my friends, I feel like this video was all over the map, but I hope you stuck with me to the end. I hope if you are a homemaker as well, I hope you're identifying a little bit with what I'm like talking about. I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope you have considered subscribing to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.